How to make a boatload of sales by finding your customer's crack and giving it to them over and over again. So really when we're talking about your customer's crack, it's really the thing they can't get enough of, no matter how much you talk about it, no matter how much you tell them or write the same copy, it just works over and over and over again. Well, Connor's in the men's dating niche, and one of the examples he gave was, every guy in the dating niche always wants to know, what do I say to the girl? It doesn't matter if like she texted me this or I said this to her, what do I say to her? It just, no matter what he's talking about, that's the questions that just keep coming up over and over and over again. So one of the things that is crack for that market is literally showing them exactly what to say. What do you think the number one thing that copywriters ask about over and over again? Shout out some answers. Getting clients. Yes, getting clients. Literally every single time Stefan and I do a webinar about copywriting and there's copywriters on it, 90% of the questions are about how do I get a client. It's not about how do I get better at copywriting, it's how do I get a client. And then even ones who are good, it's how do I get better clients? How do I get clients that pay me more money? So really any copy that talks about getting clients is basically crack for copywriters. That's kind of an example of what we're going to talk about. And like I said, a bunch of different niches here that we have. I got a ton of different examples of VSLs, ads, emails, stuff like that to show you exactly what we're talking about. And really by the end of the presentation, you should have a good idea, even if we don't show the niche that you're in, you should have a good idea of what your customer's crack is, or you can start developing your own little list and figure out what the crack is so that you can continue to just go back to that list and use it over and over. So, is everybody ready? Give me a little energy here. Awesome. So since Connor inspired this, we're starting with the men's dating niche. And he gave me some good examples here. But I really want this presentation to be interactive, and I want you guys to chime in on stuff. So what do you think it is that guys who buy dating products really want? Let's hear some answers. Definitely, there's one of them. Anyone else? Girlfriend. We have sex, girlfriend, confidence, emotional connection. I highly doubt that offer will convert very well. All right. So based on what I talked to about Connor, he said, here's the actual real crack of the men's dating market. How to get girls to chase you, eventually into bed. Know exactly what to say to girls. Easy, simple lines that'll make girls like them. So there was a few more things, but this kind of boils it down into this is what they really, really want. And you can say this as many times as you want, over and over again, and it's going to continue to work. Because this is what they want, this is what they buy. And if you look at all the VSLs, the ads, all the stuff in this niche, it is all kind of based around this, the stuff that actually works. Here's kind of what they don't want, though. They don't want to improve themselves or make themselves more interesting. That would take work and effort and a lot of things that they don't want to do. They don't want to learn some complicated framework for talking to a woman. If you got a 15-step process that you need to run through to get a date with a woman, nobody wants to hear that. They definitely don't want to get rejected. Probably the biggest fear, I would say, in that market. Would you agree, Connor? Yeah. Getting rejected? Okay. So these are the things they don't want. So you obviously want to avoid offers that talk about these things. So, like I said, this is why kind of the crack of the market is really getting girls to chase you, i.e. you don't have to do as much if they're running after you and you're not pursuing them. Much easier on you. So let's look at some examples. I got a bunch of examples here of ads. I think this first one is Connor's YouTube ad that was crushing for a while. I don't know if you're still running it, but...
Did you know there is one 5-word question you should never ask a woman if you want her to sleep with you, become your girlfriend, or see you as anything more than just a friend? As men, it sounds totally innocent to us, but when a woman hears this 5-word question escape your lips, she can't help but feel disappointed and even repulsed, even if she really liked you before you asked it. If a girl has ever ignored your texts or told you, let's just be friends, when it seemed like she was into you before, you may have asked her this 5-word question without even realizing it. So, do you know what this repulsive 5-word question is? If you're not quite sure, then keep watching, because if you've ever had a woman pull away from you or even ghost you when you thought she was interested at first, then you know how frustrating and defeating it feels to get jerked around like that. Was it something you did? Something you said? Something you should have said but didn't. And I'm sure you'd love to know what you're doing wrong, but you can never find out what you're doing wrong because she never gets back to you. Maybe you've tried asking women more questions and taking the lead, or working on your game and trying to improve your confidence, only to go through the same old cycle of getting your hopes up and then pulling your hair out in frustration when she sends you one-word texts, loses interest, and disappears. Listen, if any of that sounds familiar to you, it may be because you asked her this 5-word question. And if you're still not sure what the question is, and you want to be 100% certain you do, then I want you to pause YouTube for a minute and go watch the special presentation for men only at the link you see on your screen right now. By the way, my name is Andrew Ryan. I'm an Amazon best-selling author, body language expert, and dating consultant for over 1 million men around the world. And in this special video, after you find out what this repulsive 5-word question is, you'll discover a simple scientific secret that can turn a woman on and make her chase you and even obsess over you while thinking it's 100% her idea. So instead of fizzling out and losing her after a few messages or a few days, now she's texting you nonstop and asking if you're free for a date tonight, or if she can come over and watch a movie in bed with you. And instead of boring, logical conversations that go nowhere but the friend zone, now she's hitting on you, touching you, and making it painfully obvious she wants to sleep with you. In fact, when you follow my instructions to the letter, many girls will even make a move on you first. A few guys have already told me the first 5 minutes of this video was the most eye-opening and refreshing story they've seen all year. Click the link on your screen to watch it now and see if it can help you too. You'll also hear my outrageous true story about dating in 2020 that reveals why girls play games, lose interest, and stop texting you back, a foolproof test that lets you know if a girl is attracted to you or if she's planning on putting you in the friend zone, and a little-known trick that turns a woman on and gets her chasing you and even obsessing over you while thinking it's 100% her idea. And all you have to do is click the link you see on your screen to watch the video now, before life gets in the way. And the next thing you know, you're talking to a cute girl, you really don't want to blow it, and you're wishing you could find this video again. Click the link on your screen to watch the video now.
Awesome. By the way, the chat is blowing up with people asking for the link, so Connor, you might make a bunch of sales today. So, I want to get some opinions from you. What stood out about that ad? We talked about a little bit about the crack before. What was in there that really stood out to you?
Curiosity.
A lot of curiosity.
Agitating the pain.
Agitating the pain.
Harping on the friend zone.
Yep, the friend zone.
Keep your patient.
Did I ask the question or not?
Yeah, so kind of giving them the words, exactly what to say. Kind of the 5-word question, telling them exactly what to say, what not to say.
Urgency. Promise.
Urgency? Okay.
3 CTAs.
Yeah, so I mean, everything in there really hit on the market. Like we talked about, getting girls to chase you, getting them to obsess over you, knowing exactly what to say, what not to say. He basically took what he knows is the crack and just kept hitting on it over and over and over again. So let's look at another example. I think I have some emails here that Connor shared with me. So subject line, when you catch her staring at you, say this. Have you ever noticed a girl staring at you, but you didn't know how to approach her without being creepy or awkward? Here's what to do. Walk up to her and smile, then say this innocent 7-word phrase. This is pretty smooth. Just watch. Sign off, Andrew. So super curiosity-based, but all about here's exactly what to say. Here's a simple thing to say. It's literally this 7-word phrase. And as Connor said, that is like the crack and what guys who buy stuff in the dating market literally just can't get enough of. Another one is another email, subject line, text her this. Cool tip for today. Next time you get a girl's number, text her this. It's super innocent, but also charming at AF. Try it, see what happens, talk again soon. Exact same format, very curiosity-based, not like giving anything away, but really just hitting on that fact of here's exactly what you say to her. So, like I said, all the copy I just kind of showed you hits on what we call the main crack of the men's dating market, which is getting women to chase you, knowing exactly what to say to her, and really just easy, simple lines that'll have her into you. And kind of the whole point of this, like I said, with the crack presentation, we're going to go through this bunch of different examples. Once you know exactly what to say to them, you can literally just keep saying it over and over and over again, because if you're actually hitting on the crack of what they want, it is literally like crack and they just can't get enough of it. That's kind of the whole point of it. All right, so let's look at some more examples. Financial offers. So I consulted with two amazing financial copywriters for this, Henry Bingaman and Pauline Longden. Both of them were super generous in sharing what is kind of the financial, or the crack of the financial market. How many people in here have written financial copy? Decent amount. Okay, so we're gonna dive into this. Again, I want this to be interactive. What do you think is the crack for financial offers? Let's shout out some answers. You gotta yell them louder, I can't hear them all. Big gains. There you go, Dan Ferrari.
You're gonna lose everything.
You're gonna lose everything.
Fast money.
What'd you say, Austin?
Fast money.
Fast money.
The government's coming for you.
The government's coming for you.
Risk-free.
What was it?
Risk-free.
Risk-free.
One stock to retire.
Recession-proof.
It's one simple stock.
There you go, one simple stock.
Wall Street secrets.
All right, so lots of really good answers there. Based on what Henry and Pauline shared with me, here's exactly what they said was the crack for this market. Number one, creating generational wealth for their family and being admired for it. That's kind of a huge component of it, not just creating it, but the legacy and the admiration that they get for doing that. Knowing things others don't know, i.e. insider info, I'm smarter than you. Pretty much 90% of the buyers in this market are men, and men are motivated by status more than anything else. So anything that increases their status, especially for the guys in this market, your 50, 60, 70-year-old guy, status is the main thing they're looking for, which is why a lot of these things are based around status. Being able to buy things and do things that others can't. Nice vacations, pay for your grandkids' college, another status thing. One that Henry mentioned to me is like the investing game is rigged against you. Although he put a little side note with this, because I told him this was about the crack presentation. He's like, you have to be careful with this one, because he's like, it's not crack, it's actually heroin. And he's like, if you give too much to it, it literally will kill the entire promo. Stock charts with massive gains. Henry had some great insight into this. He's like, half the time it doesn't even matter if the stock chart even correlates with what you're talking about. He's like, they just want to see the green arrow going up over and over and over again. I was looking at some of Henry's pages, and there's literally just 40 of these, one after another. Just pretty funny. A new, simple way to get rich with the least amount of knowledge, the least amount of effort on their part. You're going to notice this one come up over and over and over again between every single niche that we talk about. They don't want a complicated trading system. They want to buy one stock and become a millionaire. That's literally what a lot of people want. Invest a small amount and turn it into a huge fortune. That kind of is what Dan talked about with big gains. We'll see some examples of that with some of the stuff we go over. The fear of missing out. Everyone in here, how many people in here had a buddy tell them about Bitcoin in 5 years ago, and you're pissed as hell that you didn't buy it back then? The fear of missing out on big gains is huge for this market, because everybody's missed out on something. Everybody missed out on their friend who told them about Amazon or told them about Bitcoin or whatever it is. And kind of what Austin said, quick results on their investments. It's not as much about getting that return 40 years from now. It's getting results and getting returns in days or weeks. By the way, if you write financial copy, you should definitely probably screenshot this and keep it as a winner. So let's look at some winning financial copy that hits on this crack. This one actually comes from one of Henry's sales letters. It was called Hooke's Law. So I'm going to read it out. All these are actually text-based, so I'm going to be reading these out. We don't have any video ones. So it goes, however, based on 26 years of historical data, if you follow this one simple rule and always wait for the hook, you can start cashing in on nearly nonstop series of triple-digit winners, 100%, 200%, or even 300%. The windfalls can come quick. Even if you're a modest investor, these consistent triple-digit paydays can help you add $8,000, possibly $29,000 a month to your net worth. Of course, to only nail winners that surpass 100% gains requires perfect timing and, quite frankly, a good bit of luck. So that would be an exceptional situation. However, this pattern also appears with at least one ordinary stock each and every week, week after week, just like clockwork. And these opportunities can lead to aggressive double-digit gains averaging over 50%. For example, on Genuine Parts Company in only 4 days, Dollar Tree in only 10 days, Anthem Medical in only 18 days, Russell 2000 iShares in only 7 days. The hook pattern is consistent, repeatable, much smarter than traditional investing, and it only takes a few minutes to put to work. So we talked a little bit about the crack. How many of the crack examples did you kind of see just in that block of copy? Can we name some of them? Say it again. Yep, so quick returns, couple days, weeks. Easy pattern, is that what you said?
Modest investor, not a lot of knowledge required.
Yes, not a lot of knowledge required. What'd you say? So, big gains. So a lot of what we really talked about with the crack of the financial market was hit on just in that 2-page block of copy. So let's look at another one. This is a killer email from, I think it's the Oxford Club. They had probably one of my favorite financial promotions of all time. It was literally called the Single Stock Retirement Plan. Like, what a great name for a program. So it says, "Dear reader, picture the perfect stock for a moment. What would it look like? No doubt it would have hundreds of billions in revenue, more than tech giants like IBM, Facebook, and Google. It would probably be a leader in cutting-edge technology like smartphones, robotics, e-commerce, and medical equipment. It would have tens of thousands of unbreakable patents. It would pay an enormous dividend. It would be on the verge of dozens of blockbuster announcements that would send the stock higher and higher. And most of all, it would trade ultra cheap, less than $3. It seems crazy that such a stock exists, but it does, and you've likely never heard of it. Why? Because it trades under a secret name. Seriously, it's true. My colleague, stock picking legend Alexander Green, just gave the most shocking live presentation regarding this perfect stock. He says this single stock alone could pay for your retirement. Click here to see more, blah, 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 blah." So let's look at that one. What kind of stood out there? What are the things that hit on that we were talking about with the crack of the financial market?
Insider info. Yeah.
Insider info?
One stock.
One stock, pay for your whole retirement? Super cheap, small investment, big potential for big gains. So yeah, as you see, all of these that are working over and over again are hitting on the same stuff. I got one more here for the financial niche. By the way, is this helpful so far, seeing these? Yeah? Okay, cool. This was, so back in, I don't know, I think it was like 2019 or whatever, when the marijuana boom was huge. There was all kinds of marijuana promos in the financial niche. This is one of those. So right now, literally hundreds of these marijuana stocks are exploding to rare highs of 8,500%, 11,000%, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read them all. Minting hundreds of new millionaires and even billionaires like Christian Blue and Michael Kennedy along the way. And because many of these marijuana stocks are still trading for just pennies, you could literally start investing in marijuana stocks with just a $100 bill, turn that stake into a massive fortune, and retire incredibly wealthy in less than a year. Sound impossible? It's not. I've seen it happen to literally dozens of folks already, and even more are still becoming millionaires seemingly every single day. One fellow I know of, for example, Terry Braid, was a local electrician in his hometown. He decided to invest in a once-in-a-lifetime boom with a friend. The result? His combined stake is now worth over $200 million. Imagine that. A 53-year-old now has more millions than he could ever spend, all because he invested in what historians could look back on as the biggest boom ever. And you could do the same as him. After all, he's just one of literally hundreds of folks whose lives have been changed forever, but you'll never see an easier way to get rich than explosive marijuana stocks, not in your lifetime. And if you miss out, you'll spend the rest of your life regretting it. That's why I want to send you this Marijuana Millionaire Playbook for free today. So what did they hit on in that one? I want to hear what stood out. Missing out.
Average person getting rich.
Average person getting rich.
Generational wealth.
Getting rich quick. Generational wealth. Anything else? So yeah, so all these kind of have in common is invest a small amount, potential huge returns, results quickly, i.e. see gains in 3 days, a week. New little known opportunity that won't last, and you're gonna see this kind of come up in pretty much all these niches that we're talking about. Simple to do, takes just minutes, and as we talked about the FOMO, the fear of missing out. All right, so we did men's dating, we did financial. Now let's go to women's dating. Let's shout out some things. What do you think it is that women want when it comes to relationships and dating? I heard attention, commitment, security, stability, emotional connection. Anything else? Cute butt. There you go. A hero. Okay. Great answers. So I actually consulted with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Chris Haddad on this one. And Chris came back with a pretty dynamite list. I actually narrowed it down because he had too much shit in there. But very typical Chris Haddad. So I narrowed it down a little bit. His thoughts. Number one, he will want you to be his and only his forever. telepathy into a man's mind. They want to understand men better than any other woman. And number 3 is they want to be chosen by the alpha male. They want the guy who could have any woman he wants, but he wants her. Very, very different from the men's dating niche. But if you actually analyze a lot of the stuff in this niche, it literally is just this template over and over and over again. So we're gonna go into some examples of that. Oh, but let's talk about what they don't want. Similar to the men's market, they don't want to do anything that involves changing themselves. There's a common theme among everybody buying stuff is they don't want to change themselves. Anything that involves them taking initiative or making the first move is a major, major turnoff. And they also don't want, just like the men, they don't want complicated strategies to do this. They don't need some 15-step formula. They want one thing. So a couple examples of this. I think this first one is from Jordan Hall, one of my good buddies and probably one of the smartest marketers there is out there. He's been crushing it in this niche for, I don't know, like 5 years now, doing anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 sales a day. And I think this is from that offer.
Hi, my name is James, and just 90 seconds from now, I'm gonna let you in on something every man is secretly obsessed with. It's something he craves, more than love, more than money, even more than sex. And the craziest part is this one secret obsession holds the key to winning a man's love, attention, and total devotion for life. But not one woman in 1,000 even knows it exists. And those that do almost never share it with another soul. But after 12 years of working with thousands of amazing women as a relationship coach, I've witnessed this secret male obsession to be the key to a man's heart. Because once you understand it, you'll be able to make the man of your choice feel a burning desire for you that's so powerful that you'll literally become the most important person in his life. The person he thinks about all day long.
So what stood out about that one to you guys in terms of what we were talking about?
Make them feel a burning desire for you. 1 in 1,000.
Burning desire for you.
Total devotion.
Total devotion. For life. Gotta get that ring. Yeah, him focusing on you and only you. Like I said, that offer's been working for 4 or 5 years, and basically everything Chris said is the crack of this market is in this first minute of that lead. Let's look at another example.
There is one 4-word question you must absolutely never ask a man if you want him to be your boyfriend or your husband or anything beyond just a hookup who you never hear from again. Do you know what the question is? As a woman, it'll probably sound completely innocent to you, but as a guy, I can tell you that when we hear this question, it takes all of the wind out of our romantic sails, no matter how we feel about a woman before she asks it. And if you've ever had a guy pull away from you when you wanted nothing more in the world than to have him pull you closer, it's probably because you asked this question without even knowing it. In fact, you probably thought asking this question was a good thing, even though you couldn't be more wrong. Again, do you know what the question is? Let me give you a hint. The question is blank you, blank me. Can you fill in the blanks? I've asked a lot of women if they know what this question is, and only 3 women out of every 100 get it right. So, do you know what the question is? If you're absolutely sure you're right, then we have nothing else to say to each other. But if you don't know the answer, or if you just want to confirm that you do, I want you to stop whatever you're doing and go watch the special video I've put together for you at the link you see on your screen right now. See, my name is Michael Fiore. I'm an internationally known relationship expert, an Amazon and Wall Street Journal best-selling author, and have even appeared as a guest on The Rachel Ray Show, among many others. And in the special video you'll watch when you click the link you see on your screen, I'll show you what this toxic 4-word question is. Teach you the shocking and strange truth about masculine psychology and why men pull away, and introduce you to a simple 3-word phrase that forces a man to automatically open his heart, let down his shields, and commit to protecting you, providing for you, and even worshiping you while thinking it's 100% his idea. And all you have to do is click the link and go watch the video right now, before the curiosity drives you mad, before you find yourself in bed tonight wondering what you missed, because I can only help you if you decide to help yourself by clicking the link on your screen and watching this special video right now.
By the way, funny story about this. I was in Utah at Mike Geary's house for a mastermind, and Chris was there, and he had just written this, and he showed me the video, and I'm sitting there watching it. And there happened to be a bunch of the guys there, their wives like hanging around behind us, and they were like listening to it. And we get done, and me and Chris are like talking about the elements of copy in it. And literally all four of the women, they're like, wait, what was the 4-letter word? Like they're like, wait, can we click on the link? I want to watch the video. So what did you see in there that hits on kind of the crack of the women's relationship dating market? Shout out some answers. What was it?
You don't have to change.
You don't have to change. Just here's this simple 4-letter, 3-word sentence to say. He'll worship you, totally devoted to you. Anything else?
Look like the exact reverse of Connor's ad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Connor swiped that, did you? Yeah. Smart man. So, like I said, both of the things we showed, he'll want you to be his and only his forever. Understanding exactly what he's thinking. Being chosen by the guy who could have any woman. They want one simple thing to make all this happen without changing themselves. So, like I said, as you can see over and over and over again, if you know what the crack is in the market, you can just continue to hit on it over and over again, and it just keeps working. BizOp. How many people in here have written BizOp copy or are in the BizOp niche, or you teach marketing, you teach business growing stuff? Okay, awesome, good amount. So I consulted with Mario on this one. Where are you at, Mario? Raise your hand, take some accolades. Mario's in our mastermind, pretty amazing BizOp writer, writes a bunch of stuff for Stefan and I. So let's look at what's going on in the BizOp niche. So what do you guys think the crack is for the BizOp niche? I'll give you, in case people don't really know, BizOp in general is mostly just normal people who work normal 9-to-5 jobs, and you're teaching them how to make money doing something. Maybe it's copywriting, maybe it's phone closing, whatever it is. They're not usually entrepreneurs or people who are already making $1 million a year type thing. What do you think the crack is for this market? Shoot out some answers. All right, let's do one at a time.
Low time commitment.
Low risk.
Low risk.
Easy one. Passive income. Full-time income from home.
Full-time income from home. Easy.
Easy one. Quit your job.
Quit your job. Jazz. Easy money. Anyone else?
Be respected. Laptop lifestyle.
Laptop lifestyle. Be respected.
Do things your friends can't. $1,000 a month.
Extra $1,000 a month. All right, a lot of good answers there. Here's the actual crack according to Mario, and I've seen this in a lot of the work I've done in this niche as well. Number one, escape the 9-to-5, no more boss, no one telling you what to do, pretty much i.e. the definition of freedom. Get back control over your schedule, your income, where you live, all that. You're not under someone with their boot on your neck. You have the freedom to kind of do what you want. Do it through a new, easy system that is all about one thing, and it needs a low barrier to entry. That's a really big part of this. One thing that Mario chimed in with, he's like, they don't actually want to run a business. They want a simple way to make $5,000 or $10,000 a month. Because running a business is very complicated and a lot of hurdles. This is why the kind of the low barrier to entry stuff, like teach somebody how to make bunk beds in a weekend and sell them on Craigslist, is a lot better than how to run an entire info product business, which requires learning how to write copy and running ads and all kinds of stuff like that. Does that make sense? All right, so let's look at some examples of this. I think I have two examples of this. The one that I'm going to share first is from Traffic and Funnels, Chris and Taylor. They've been running this phone closer offer for, 2 years now. They were in one of my old coaching programs when they were actually putting this together, and so it's really cool to see it taking off. I know last I talked to them, it was doing a couple hundred sales a day, and they got a 8-figure business out of it now, so it's crushing.
Hey, got a question for you. How many times do you hit snooze in the morning when your alarm clock reminds you it's time to go to work? 4, maybe 5 times before the voice of your underappreciative boss pops into your head and startles you awake by reminding you that you can't afford to quit yet. What would you give to finally be free, to free yourself from that meaningless 9-to-5 job before this time next month, so you never have to trade your soul for another terrible paycheck ever again? I'm asking because if you're anything like me 2 years ago, the only answer to that question is I would do anything. Here's the thing, you already know the importance of finding that high-paying part-time side hustle that gives you the job replacing income that you need, so you can finally write your own ticket living on your own terms and creating the abundance that you and your loved ones deserve. Working where you want, when you want, how much you want, all without having to put your 8 hours in, without missing out on living because you have to work late, and without kissing the feet of a boss who treats you like dirt.
That was a pretty damn good lead. So everything we just really talked about there, they hit on that. Anything that really stood out to you guys in that lead?
Jets.
The what?
Jets.
The jet? You're persuaded by the jet flying around the PJ?
He said it. He appeared as a normal person. He didn't position himself way above the target market. He
Yep.
appeared as one of them.
Yep. Anybody else?
There've been 2 years.
Nailed the problem. Yep. Yeah, I mean, really, a lot of the stuff in the biz op market is actually one of the big mistakes you see with copy in this market is talking much more about the opportunity that you're selling and not enough about the pain and the frustration and the sadness and all that they're feeling right now in a job they hate. That's really what they want more than anything. They want out of the current position much more than they actually want whatever the attainable goal is. But this did a really good job of hitting on that with talking about the boss and getting up and hearing the alarm clock and all that type of stuff. Here's another one.
Business partner have made over $7.5 million by tapping into online malls. How? Simple. As you know, physical malls are dying everywhere because everyone is spending their money online. These online malls need someone who can help them bring in online traffic, because when you help an online mall bring in customers and tens of thousands of dollars worth of sales each month, they will happily pay you $2,000 to $5,000 per month. It's common sense. And once you have a few clients, you can easily make over $10,000 per month. The best part is you can set these ads up using our templates within a few minutes, and they run on autopilot 24/7, bringing visitors to your clients while you're free to do whatever you want, like skiing, hiking, climbing mountains with your best friends, traveling the world, working from your laptop, working from your phone, whatever you want to do. You can do it when you set up this business. And all the while, these business owners are paying regular people like you and I, not tech geniuses or whiz kids, but just simple people. And they pay you month after month. All the work you do to help them bring in customers is done online, and a lot of it's automated.
So that was Chance and Abdul. They were actually at our Vegas event last year. They do a lot of stuff in BizOp, run a ton of YouTube ads, sell high ticket stuff. What stood out to you about that piece of copy? Automation, yep. A lot of it's done for you, Rob.
Any idiot can do it.
Exactly. What? 2 to 5K a month. Yep, a very believable amount of money that you could make. That's a big issue that you see in a lot of BizOp. Like if you're super high, like somebody who's making $30,000, $40,000 a year and you're telling them they're going to be a millionaire, they just can't even comprehend it. It's not believable whatsoever. Anyone else? Common sense. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I mean, this is really kind of the everyman, super easy, automated, copy and paste, and then really hitting on the lifestyle stuff. You can do what you want, you can travel, you can hang out with your friends, and you don't have to be working all the time. So like I said, the crack of this market, we see this in every single successful ad, email, VSL, literally just hitting on the same things over and over. These are two totally different companies, and they're hitting on the exact same stuff because that is the crack of the market. That is what works. That's what they want. All right, last example here I have is weight loss. So weight loss, obviously a massive, massive market. How many people in here have written weight loss, or you're selling stuff for weight loss or health in general? Pretty good majority of the room. What do you think the crack is for the weight loss market? Let's hear some answers.
Hate cardio, no effort. Don't give it effort.
Hate cardio, no effort.
Still eat as much as you want.
Eat the food you want.
Magic pill. No exercising.
No exercising.
That's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Feeling sexy again, confidence. You're being lied to. Awesome. So here is kind of what I believe is the crack for the weight loss market. A mysterious or never before seen weight loss solution. They want things that are new. If you tried out the same green coffee bean, turmeric, acai berry, they don't want it. They've heard it, they've seen it, they've probably tried it. Big weight loss possible with very little effort. Notice how this is super similar to financial, where it's, I want to make a shitload of money and I only want to risk $100. Very, very similar thing. So most of the stories you see in the weight loss VSLs are like somewhere between like a 40 pound and like a 70 pound weight loss. If you wrote a story about someone losing 10 pounds, nobody gives a shit. Most of the market really doesn't relate with it, and it's not a big enough kind of thing to really get them excited. So the one, like a lot of you guys said, no effort on your end or very little effort, and still being able to eat all the food that you would love. So pizza, ice cream, all that good stuff. Very simple solution. We'll see this over and over again. The kind of 2-minute ritual is like in all these VSLs. Get a second shot at youth. So this one, it was interesting when I had my greens powder, we did a whole hook on living longer and realized that was like an absolute awful hook. Nobody who's like 75 or 80 years old actually wants to live longer. They just want to be young again, which makes a lot of sense. But I learned very quickly that what people really want is the second shot at youth. They want the energy, the confidence, to be able to kind of do things that they used to be able to do, look like they used to look 10 or 15 years ago. That's what people really want. Feeling more confident in your skin, being the envy of your friends, that's always a big one, and more energy. And then we'll see with a lot of these, the nightmare story is a pretty much given in almost every single one of these weight loss ads. They work over and over and over again. So let's look at a couple examples.
Susan was sitting near the hotel pool when suddenly,
Mommy, help!
her son was sinking, splashing his arms, powerless in the deep end of the pool. She jumped up and ran as fast as her legs would take her. But Susan couldn't run fast enough. The weight around her waist, her thighs, and her hips slowed her down. Sharp pain erupted from her left knee like fireworks. As Susan collapsed on the ground, her heart pounding like a rock hammer, she knew it was too late. She keeled over, gasping for breath, pain crushing her chest.
What happened next is shocking and painful for me to tell. But what we didn't know at the time was that this event would lead to the discovery of a mysterious weight loss solution.
A breakthrough which caused Susan Atley, a 45-year-old dental assistant from near St. Louis, Missouri, to suddenly lose 33 pounds of fat and amaze her friends and family with her mind-blowing transformation. And she would then go on to drop another 21 pounds in the weeks that followed, going from this to this. Without exercise, without even dieting. She supported healthy blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol levels. She was able to wear her favorite clothes again. She started looking 10 years younger. And a few short weeks later, Susan woke up oozing a new self-confidence and happiness she hadn't felt since her 20s. Friends and family members were stunned by her new slim and toned body. Susan didn't use any of the methods that are so heavily promoted by the weight loss industry. The powerful fat-burning solution that she stumbled on is not a diet, is not a workout, is not a fat-burning pill, is not some weight loss gadget. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
By the way, does anybody else find that like just super cringeworthy? Like literally the worst like soap opera just turned into a lead for a VSL. But that might be why it works, though, because it's like 90% of the people that buy weight loss stuff are women, and who watches soap operas? Women. So maybe there's something there. But what stood out to you guys about that lead, besides the fact that it's super cringy?
Nightmare story.
Nightmare story.
50 pounds of weight loss, and it was presented.
Yep.
I made a lot of promises.
Oh, shit. Well, I just skip ahead. Guys, can we go back a slide? Wear your favorite clothes again? Yep. Like nothing you've ever seen. Second shot at youth.
Things you've already tried that failed.
She what?
Things you've already tried that failed.
Things you already tried but failed.
What other people think of you when you can't see?
Yep, other people admiring you. Cool. So I think I got one more here for the weight loss one, and it is Brad Howard's offer research, which was probably one of the biggest offers of 2020. And you'll notice a lot of similarities. I really want you to kind of pay attention to the similarities of what we saw with that first one and then this one.
I made a lot of promises. This weight is coming off one way or another. I mean it.
Help! Oh my god, someone help! This guy just fell!
Call an ambulance.
Sir, stay with me.
Dr. Lee? Dr. Lee, how bad is it this time?
It's not good. His heart just can't support his weight. He's asleep now, but he doesn't have much time. I'm very sorry, but there's really not much more we can do.
John, wake up! John! John, wake up! John, come on, wake up!
I thank God every morning for allowing me to wake up, and especially for what happened next. Because what happened next took my life on the most dramatic and unexpected turn possibly imaginable. And although this story is painful and embarrassing to tell, God's given me the courage to do so because what happened next led to a breakthrough discovery that not only saved my life, but I believe it could very well save yours too. A breakthrough discovery that has uncovered a shocking core cause of excess belly fat, unwanted weight gain, premature aging and disease, and as you'll see, it has nothing to do with genetics, diet, or exercise. A discovery which led to a simple after-dinner ritual that helped me quickly incinerate 59 pounds of health-destroying, ugly belly fat, which left me barely recognizable to my friends and family, and even to myself when I walked by my bathroom mirror. Going from this to this. Yet more importantly, helping to rescue me from the seemingly imminent life sentence of critical health complications and nasty medications I'd become dependent upon. The same after-dinner ritual that helped me reverse every indicator of aging in ways that may utterly defy what we've been taught to believe is possible, in stunning ways that may have sent certain world-renowned anti-aging doctors to stars and university research departments across the U.S. into humbling states of disbelief. A simple 2-minute ritual that freed me from the overbearing stress, anxiety, and depression that had overtaken every waking moment of my day-to-day life, while helping to rapidly restore my energy and reviving my sex drive beyond what I remember enjoying even in the very best days of my youth.
What stood out to you guys about the copy in that video? What did they hit on in terms of the crack that we talked about for the market? Simple ritual. Scary story. Huge amount of weight loss.
Breakthrough discovery.
Yep, breakthrough discovery.
The music shifts at like a exercise or diet.
No exercise. Yeah, telling them exactly what it's not. So you can see there's a lot of similarities between those two. The second one was, I think, the production on it, quality on it is much better, not as hokey, not as, kind of cringeworthy. But both those are huge, massive offers doing millions and millions and millions in sales. But they hit on very, very similar things. So, we kind of just went over this. No effort, big weight loss, mysterious or never before seen weight loss solution, getting a second shot at youth, feeling more confident, all of that. So one thing I kind of pointed out earlier is the crack for all these markets, there's a lot of similarities between them. And I'm going to kind of show you, we're going to go over some of that right now. So number one, they want brain dead, simple things that require little or no effort on their part. So some of the examples we saw, 5 words that make a girl fall for you, 2-minute ritual for weight loss each night, buy 1 stock, retire rich. This is common across every single category we talked about. It's common across every category that we didn't talk about. This is what people want. This is something that actually stood out to my head as I went through this. Every single one of these people want unrealistic things to happen. Think about it. A guy who hasn't been on a date in 2 years wants girls to suddenly chase him. What do you think the odds are of that happening? Somebody who's never been good with money wants to invest $100 and retire a millionaire. Somebody wants to lose 50 pounds without dieting or exercising. A woman wants to find a man who wants her and only her. Copywriters want to get clients without getting good at copy. Literally the number one thing Steph and I, when we do, like I said, when we do these webinars, especially the newer copywriters, it's how do I get a client? And we have to start first with, well, first you got to have some skills. But nobody wants to hear that part. It's how do I get a client? So like I said, this is kind of something really to keep in mind in terms of when you're selling to people. They want unrealistic things to happen. Doesn't mean you have to promise unrealistic things, but when you're actually talking about the kind of the benefits and what you're selling to them, keep in mind that that is what they want. And another one, they want the solution to be new, little known, or mysterious, something they've never heard of before. They don't want the same old, same old. We shared the one with Henry's financial offer about Hooke's Law. It was just this very, kind of the mechanism on it was like at a certain point in the stock market, this Hooke's Law thing comes in, and if you follow Hooke's Law and make trades at this point, you can make a bunch of money. The Japanese tonic was the weight loss one. It was the first weight loss one. Amazon Audiobook Academy, that is basically like a BizOp offer. You're not running an entire business. It's literally like, I don't know exactly what it was, but it's something to do with audiobooks and Amazon, obviously. But it's a new, mysterious thing that they've never heard of before. So kind of the big thing before I wrap this presentation that I want you guys to take away, every niche has a crack. And that crack is literally something they can't resist. And when you figure out what that crack is, exactly as Connor said, just keep giving it to them over and over and over again, because they don't get tired of it. As you can see, like all these offers that work, literally just keep hitting on the same crack over and over and over again. So yeah, it's one big thing Steph and I always talk about is don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like one of the biggest mistakes copywriters make is trying to get too creative and come up with new stuff. If you know exactly what works, stick with what works. Any questions before we wrap? We can answer maybe 5 or 10 minutes of questions.
No questions. How do you, when you start working with a client, I guess in any scenario with a client, as a copywriter, how do you ensure those congruence between leads like you're offering? Oh, thank you.
Sorry about that, y'all. So as a copywriter, when you're working with a client, how do you ensure there's congruence between the ad creative and the copy and then what the actual offer is and then fundamentally like what you're providing to the customer? As an example, I do a lot of work in the dating niche, and for sure saying we're going to show you a 5-word phrase that's going to get you girls is like completely incongruent with the actual thing we're selling. Right. So how do you reconcile that as the copywriter?
Because you can put information in if it's like an ebook, you can put information in there that actually has that 5-word thing in it, and also teach other stuff. So things with really good hooks that you know are going to work in the copy, definitely use them, and then just put them in the book. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of this starts with creating an offer that you know they're going to want. If you create an offer for let's say the men's dating niche, that is literally all about, here's what you got to do. You have to go out to the bar 6 nights a week and talk to 20 girls a night. Nobody wants to hear that. So trying to sell that is incredibly hard. So a lot of it starts with the offer first. Because if you create an offer that nobody wants, it doesn't matter if you get me to write the copy or Stefan to write the copy. It's 100 times harder to sell that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
What strategies do you use to uncover a market's crack? Besides, looking at what else sells, that's something I can think of. Surveys maybe is.
So multiple things. Studying what has worked in the past is, in my opinion, probably the best thing. Connor gave a great example of this at the last event. He literally studied like every men's dating VSL for the last 8 years that had worked and broke down exactly what was in it, what was the main benefits. I remember one of the things he said was every single one of them had the get girls to chase you kind of angle in it. It wasn't about how to pick up girls or how to get girls, it was how to get girls to chase you. So if that happened in 7 different VSLs and they've all been successful, that should probably be in your VSL as well. So that's one thing. Second thing is actually talking to them and listening to them. You will get so much information on pain points and frustrations. people that actually, like Stefan and I are actually always talking to copywriters and talking to business owners. It's super easy for us to know what the pain points are. For a lot of people, like when I was in my weight loss supplement business, I really didn't talk to the customers ever, and that was a big mistake. So if you can get on the phone with them and have a conversation, you'll be shocked about the stuff they say that you can start to add to copy. It'll literally completely change the way you write. I think, to me, those are probably the two biggest things.
Perfect, thanks.
Cool. Anyone else questions before we move on? Matt, can we run a mic over there?
A lot of these examples are selling to direct to consumers, and I wonder how does the same rules apply when you're selling to a more business to business audience? So I sell something to individual salespeople about getting better at business to business sales. And I wonder if there's a difference between, a lot of this thing is, easy, no effort, it's what people want. I sell something that people actually need, but perhaps don't want. And so my question is there a difference between B2B audiences, even though they're individuals themselves, and B2C? I'm struggling to make that distinction, and if this actually applies to what I'm trying to do.
No, I mean, to me, I don't think that having sold to both B2B and B2C, I don't think there's any difference in how you sell to them. A lot of people in B2B make the mistake of thinking their customers are way smarter and way higher level, and that's really not the case at all. I would say you made a really good point on I'm selling something that people need and not what they want. To me, that's usually a big mistake. You usually want to sell them what they want, and then you can give them what they need along with that. So a good example is in the dating niche. All the guys want stuff like what to say and blah, blah, blah. So you give them that in let's say the ebook, but then you also build in a bunch of other stuff about here's a lot of stuff that really matters about improving yourself as a person and being more open and dressing better and leading and stuff like that. So that's the stuff like if Connor made a VSL about that, like no one would buy that shit because that's not what they want. But he knows that's kind of what they need. So you kind of, like I said, you sell them what they want and then you work in what they need when you actually deliver the product. Does that make sense? Cool. Can we get a mic up here up front? Okay, let's do one more and then we'll cut.
It'll be quick. I just want to know, like, in terms of the level of awareness of the audience, is this strictly for cold traffic, or will it depend on how aware they are of their problem and solutions to the problem? Because I'm just curious on, like, I always think about, like, how sick are they of hearing this stuff over and over again, and how can I maybe reinvent the wheel? And maybe I should.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking it. I've always sold to cold traffic and warm traffic the same way. A lot of people try to shortcut the process on warm traffic and do like way shorter kind of selling. And in my experience, it never works as well. There are certain things you can get away with a little shorter with warm traffic, but overall, I would say definitely kind of going through the full sales process the exact same. Like if you're promoting to an email list and you're selling a weight loss thing, you're going to make way more money sending to one of these offers, even though they've seen 10 of them just like it, than you would send it to something that you kind of like cut it down and all that. Cool, guys. So that's my talk.